Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Table Forged.
Hello.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Will.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, Will is our hidden GM today. Today, we actually bring you Tales from the Tabletop. Okay, this is going to be a pen and paper game of Starfinder.
Yep.
If Will wants to give a little description of Starfinder, I know I've run some of it. He's run a lot more than I have, so...
Think of a lot of people want to say it's Starfinder in space. I have not actually ran or played Starfinder, so I have no point of reference for that. But I will say that it is actually quite a great deal of fun. It fits any sort of sci-fi genre, particularly you've not really felt that's not Star Wars. So it's not space drama; it's adventuring and doing things in space. And thank you, Ryan, for smacking the crap out of them.
My bad.
Also, as a point of note, I have earphones on, so anytime they're particularly awful to that mic,
No.
they're being awful to me directly, which will make things much harder for them. There's a small chance I'll end up being a GM a lot on here, so I want you guys to remember every time it builds.
Will does hold grudges between games.
You know, eventually I'll be in that chair and you'll get your revenge.
Yeah, but I'm a lot nicer than you.
You're a vengeful cuss.
Being vengeful does not mean that I'm not nicer than you. It just means that if you do something, I will remember it, and I will creatively figure a way of getting back at you.
Fair.
Anyways, our adventures today. Why don't you introduce yourselves by your characters, your race, your classes? I think we kind of went over this over a previous video, but it doesn't hurt to remind people because it's been at least a week.
By the way, yes. So what DM Will just said, there is going to be a character creator video has already been released onto the channel.
Yeah, just click the link below.
Yep. If you wanted to see a little bit more in depth on our character stats and our process for why we wanted to make the characters we made today.
Well, I'll let you go first, Matt.
Okay, so my character is a Isoki, if I'm pronouncing that correct, which is basically a rat person.
A rat
right?
person.
Yeah, and my character's name is Scrap. He is literally a junkyard rat that he basically likes to scavenge and build things with any spare parts he can find lying around. And he has a robot companion named Yard. So, yes, Scrapyard. And Yard is basically a little stealth drone, and basically kind of like a spider. And he can do some little useful things that hopefully we get to show off today.
Yep.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
And I am playing essentially what amounts to an agender android who goes by the call numbers of NIV or Niv. He is a bounty hunter operative. Basically, he likes to go out on various adventures. Yeah, there's what he can learn. If he's got to take someone in, he does. He generally tries not to kill if he can help it, because more money that way.
And it keeps us in that nice PG range. Yay.
Yes. Yes.
Though we might end up hitting PG-13 today.
Oh my.
Just be careful, guys. We don't want to use that one F we get.
Yeah, a little bit of background. I figure at some point something probably happened to him in the past, and this rat was the one that helped.
Yeah, he might have been partially a bounty, and he also may have been a companion that ended up sewing them back together. Or he might have just been particularly useful in making sure that the ship that he was on didn't blow up, and in a weird sense of loyalty, he may have just made him a friend and accidentally lost that bounty.
Oops.
Oh no, too bad, so sad. So, it's our heroes find themselves... Let me get a drink first. Water.
Stay hydrated, people.
Yeah. So, our heroes find themselves on the planet of Verces, which is a tidal-locked planet. It's part of the Pact Worlds. But they are not on the dark side or the bright side. They're really not even on the surface at all, almost. For the city that they're in, they found themselves in the slum trying to find a particularly disturbing doctor named Dr. Azar. He is known as being a cybernetic surgeon, prone to... He, after an incident involving his wife some years ago that left her kind of in a comatose state, he's been trying to, let's say, improve the condition of others to see if he can give them new life. And at first it started out being just like, just a few people here or there who voluntarily came in or wanted some sort of thing, because Verces, their society, very much encourages cybernetic augmentation. But it started becoming something more darker, something more sinister. So, it's like our bounty hunter with scraps in tow have found themselves down in the underbelly of one of the Verces cities, down where even the light doesn't penetrate, where the perpetual twilight of that thin band keeps things at least a decent level. Down here the light is dim, and the citizens, while not as dim, are definitely much darker. So you find yourselves at a club that, as far as your contacts have been able to tell you, Niv, has been one where frequently users of more black market cybernetic augments have been. People trying to up their station but not really having the funds have come down here, and this tends to be one of the more popular spots for a lot of those people. So your goal in this particular scene probably is just to find out where this doctor might be.
Okay.
So we're going to treat this a little bit kind of like a skill challenge. Okay. Just so that you don't have to worry too much about how you don't have to be worried about being creative, but I encourage creativity. Any sort of social skills, those are the ones you're going to be using to actually... Yeah, I know. Yeah. We're so good at that.
We're both experts at that.
Those are the primary ones you'll be able to use to kind of help manipulate or actually gather information. All I require is really 3 major things. But you can also use other skills that help bolster your skills or lower the DC of other things. Mm-hmm. So I know that neither one of you are necessarily particularly talky characters. Nope. Seeing as how one of you literally was raised around nothing but scraps
and garbage,
much like my life, and the other one of you has used to looking for scraps and garbage and putting them away.
What's the name of this nightclub that we're in?
I don't know what'd be a good one. I mean, you're in the not. They're prone to being quite literal with a lot of their naming of things.
A dark corner.
The dark corner. All right,
let's do it.
Yeah, if they're literal, I mean.
Yeah. So you're in the dark corner, which is a bumping nightclub down underneath some of the cities.
Hey, at least no matter where we sit, we can say we're sitting in the dark corner.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's true. You're always in a dark corner. And you get to meet in a bar, too. So I'm working all the tropes all in one go.
Yeah. And I'm working in the occasional dad joke, so it's good.
It works. Yeah. All right, so... it's a standard nightclub. You see people just kind of out on the dance floor dancing. You see people at the bar drinking. The bartender's over there cleaning. You see a few people here and there with augments and stuff. Any skills that you think can apply to a situation, if you can explain to me in a good way that they could apply. So I know engineering's a big one for you, Scrap.
Yeah.
So okay, you're looking around looking at different augments and stuff like that people have, right? It's Verces. Everyone has augments of some sort, and if they don't, they're probably more special than the other guy, ironically enough.
Gotcha. And this is very common for on this planet.
Right, okay, right. Gotcha. It's a caste-like thing to have augmentations. If you don't have anything, it's kind of odd. You're either very important, you're very high up the chain, or you're so poor that you're not even a member of society, basically. So
augmentations can kind of be like a level of wealth, or how wealthy you are, or just or
a little bit.
Okay, gotcha. And we're looking for this doctor, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Do we have an idea of how skilled he may or may not be?
You can give me either a medicine or an engineering check. That is optional for either one of you.
Yeah, it's the same.
Or if you wanted to, you could use your bounty hunter levels, because I'm sure they would give you some information about him.
Actually, my medicine's actually higher than my bounty hunter, so.
You're a better doctor than you are a bounty hunter.
That's an 8.
So...
Starting off with a natural 1, so plus 7, 8.
That is a great start. So, unfortunately, there wasn't really a lot of information on this guy. What were you? You're rolling a medicine?
Yes.
Okay. Unfortunately, you don't really know much about this guy. You know that he was some sort of surgeon. There was some networking stuff here or there, but ultimately, you haven't really taken the time to go and look up any additional information. Like, you don't know any of his former clients or anything like that.
So,
Scrap, if you would like to join in on that particular search too, you could do an engineering, which I know you're good at.
Yeah, well, I was actually curious because so we're at this club because we know the doctor has come here before, or
you have resources that suggest that a lot of his clientele have ended up at this particular club.
Okay. So my question is, I have my custom rig, and that helps me hack devices and everything. Do I have to connect directly with said device, or can I kind of do it wirelessly?
Being a low-level mechanic right now, you have to do more of a direct link.
Direct link, okay.
But in this particular case, what are you wanting to actually do?
So I was wanting to direct link to a computer without being noticed to see when was the last time he's been in. He's been in here.
Okay. All right. So give me a computers check. Because there's access to different terminals and stuff like that. People use them all the time. It's very common.
And I'm sure seeing someone hook up to something sort of on a device isn't really.
It's not that uncommon. Yeah. A lot of people will also kind of do a lot more. We'll do a lot more just kind of okay, I need to update my stuff, or I need to see if I can connect to things, or I need to send out a call, and it hard lines a little bit easier than maybe maybe using the internet.
Sure. I rolled a 21.
21, that is obscenely good. So there are no receipts or anything related to any sort of Dr. Azar. In fact, it being a seedier place, there are a lot more. A lot of people pay UPBs, the universal kind of plastic bits that are used commonly as either currency, but are often not as building materials. But it's a 1-to-1. So a lot of people use hard currency rather than anything like that. You do have a number of people who you do notice with a 21.
Mm-hmm.
You do notice that there appears to be some sort of pattern, whereas for a little while you'll see some people being there, and then they'll drop off, and then you won't see them for a few months. And then might see a few blips, but it's usually whatever they were paying before for drinks and food or whatever they might want, it looks like they were spending a lot less afterwards. So a few people who actually are using credits rather than using UPBs.
Okay. So they're using credits more at that point than using UPBs. Okay, gotcha.
Right, and that'll kind of help you find people to actually talk to and find out more information.
Yeah, 'cause it sounds like they spend their UPBs on the augmentations, but that's possibly their life. Either he's taken their life savings, or they've had to use it all on these augmentations.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think checking with a couple of those people would probably be the best place to start.
Yeah. Do we see any of these people here? Do we know if any of these people are at the club right now?
You see a few of them right there. They kind of stand out a little bit, yeah. So you see a few people around.
Yeah, I'm not a talky person, but I do have intimidate.
I have +1 in diplomacy. So are we doing a good cop, bad cop thing here?
We can go Batman, right?
Okay, so which one of you is actually leading this, and which one of you is actually acting as support?
Probably I'll be the one to act as support, because I can be the more intimidating one.
Okay. So how do we want to, before I actually go up and do this, because I'm really bad at improvising on the fly, or what are we going to ask this person? Just asking
Well, I want you to kind of do the roll first, and then depending on how good or bad it goes, then kind of role play it out.
Sure.
Because if you say something really amazing and wonderful and creative and amazing, and you roll
is
1,
crap.
Yeah,
and you roll a straight 1, then it does kind of make it sound like you're just full of it.
Yeah.
So if you're acting as support, I need you to get I think a 15 or better.
Okay.
And that'll add bonuses to Ryan's roll with his Intimidate.
No, Ryan was supporting me, is what he said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then other way around.
So you go ahead and do your roll, Ryan, I guess, because I didn't do too well.
Okay. Well, we got probably. Cause what'd you end up with?
I ended up with, if I'm doing diplomacy, I ended up with a 5.
Whew. Whew. It's a good start.
This is starting off beautifully.
It's okay. It's like you're not going to screw it up too bad.
But let's see what you roll with your support.
9.
A 9? Okay.
Better than you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you tried to help, like you're trying to be intimidating and rough, but you're kind of an android. Your idea of being like intimidating is really just standing there and staring at somebody. It doesn't really quite help.
Yeah.
And you're really better with machines.
Yeah, I am. Machines get me.
So what is it that you say? Because you failed wonderfully, terribly, terrible.
So when I go up to this person, do I see do I see the augmentation on them at all?
Yes, actually. If you actually want to talk about that, I'll allow you to re-roll if you do an engineering check for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's way better for me. Well, my engineering is naturally high. That's a 12.
So a 12. So it's like you recognize the work is not quite as good, but it's still better than some of the stuff you've made. So you're like, that's really cool.
Yeah. I go up to him all like, just like awkward, be like, I like your augmentation. Where'd you get that?
And the guy just kind of looks at you and just kind of creeped out by. He's like, bud, I don't think you need to know anything, right? And he just goes back to his drink right there and just kind of like his eyeballing the bartender, just kind of like. And you hear in the background goblin.
Yep. Got a little goblin around here.
Yep.
There's also children at this club. It's like they want drinks, and people are just like, nah.
Look, babies are the worst drunks, okay?
The absolute worst. Ryan, it's your fault.
I'm not saying otherwise.
50%. All right, so, and then while you're doing this, like, Niv is trying to be intimidating, but it's really just kind of like blankly staring off into the ether, I'm assuming. So unfortunately that is a fail for this particular one right there. So
well, that was awkward.
That was awkward, but you can still kind of look around a little bit right there, though. It does look like you've kind of gotten the bartender's attention a little bit more.
Should we talk to the bartender?
It's worth a shot.
All right, so how are you approaching the bartender? Are you doing anything to kind of draw his attention other than just...
I'm going to ask for a drink.
All right.
I was going to say, try to do it more nonchalantly. Ask for a drink, but, you being more mechanically minded could feint being interested in...
Well, here's the thing. I don't have an augmentation on myself. I could ask around about wanting to do that, wanting to get one.
Yeah. That's kind of my thinking.
Yeah. So, unless you think I need to do anything extra, I'm going to go ahead and wait for the bartender to ask for a drink.
No, that's fine. I'm gonna probably while you do that, kind of just keep. It'd probably be hopefully I can use perception or something. Just kind of keep scanning the bar to see if I know it. Yeah, I kind of know it, or see like if like a deal possibly being brokered somewhere.
Okay. I will say give me an insight for that one right there. So you kind of can look around and see if there's any sort of deals being brokered or anything. And Matt, you said you were kind of you were wanting to talk about getting an augment, but you don't really want one.
That's a good roll. Yeah,
17.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Cool. All right, so I'm gonna say yours is gonna be a bluff check. Okay. Scrap is gonna have to get a kind of bluff because he's not really wanting an augment. It's from what I can kind of tell, but you are still actually showing interest.
Do I get any kind of a perk to it for showing interest in the one stranger's augmentation? And since he eyed the bartender, like, could that be even though I'm kind of weird, wouldn't that mean that I kind of can convince him I do want one.
I will adjust the DC for you based on whether your success or failure of that.
Okay. Okay.
Keep it on the table, man.
It got to the edge. It's not good though. So do we want to do Ryan's first or mine first?
Ryan did great. He actually did manage to find like a few people. Actually, some people actually stood out. Your bounty hunter like senses that you've been working on developing, kind of helped how to pick out people who were just kind of talking casually. Those who were trying to do some sort of pickup, but you also kind of pinned down a few people who looked like they were doing something more seedier.
I'm gonna kind of. Thankfully, I'm a lot more stealthy than I am talky.
Okay.
Kind of try to stick to the darker areas, but make my way
kind
over
of
there.
Sneak up and nonchalantly
here. Try to overhear it.
Okay, so give me a stealth check and we'll resolve Scrap's bad time.
Again, I'm not good when it comes to bluffing. I rolled a 7.
Okay, you can try to use like other skills. Just kind of justify them to me in some way. That's what I was trying to encourage at the beginning, where it's just like, yeah, the social skills are going to be your primary for doing things. Like they're going to be the easiest to get, but while it'll be harder for other skills, you might be more adept at those.
I want to convince him that I want to get an augmentation because I want to convince him that I am a mechanic and the tool and I can always use an extra set of hands, and the tools I have, it just makes it more awkward for me to do my job properly. And also I'm going to try to let on that I'm having a hard time finding a place that I can do it with how much I make currently.
Okay. So you're basically kind of pressing what your ability is as a mechanic and stuff like that. So I would assume that you're probably going to show off your pet, just kind of show him how you do all that stuff right there. Yeah. So if you wanted to, you could do an engineering check instead of doing a bluff or something else, because like you're looking for space, you're looking for a place to work and do some more.
Okay. Okay, that's an 18.
Okay, that's much better. So he kind of looks at your little robot, right, and like it bounces around, kind of skittery and happy and stuff like that, because it's your little buddy, yard.
It's my little spider friend. It's a little yard.
And the bartender's still kind of cleaning that single, like they do. Doesn't matter if it's a spaceport or some old West saloon, they're always cleaning that one glass, and you're pretty sure they've spit in it, but whatever.
Flavor.
Yeah. And so it's just like, well, it's like, I don't know if I could really help you with anything directly, but I'll keep an ear out for anything that might be of use, that might be able to help you out. And if anyone around here, if I hear anything, I might be willing, if I don't forget. And he kind of gestures with his hand. Kind of like, just like, and then just like, I might be willing to help, just kind of like a very subtle gesture with his hand. Is like, so what are you wanting to drink?
Okay, I want to ask him for, okay, do we have, I'll ask him for, one of their, like, not crazy expensive, but like, a glass of like one of their nicer, liquors or something like that.
Okay. So he kind of like looks, he turns back, right, and he kind of like starts bumming around. He finds something, right, and it's like he pulls it out. If you want, you can give me a life science to determine how much you're actually going to spend.
Life science?
Yes.
I don't. Is that a skill or?
Yes. If you're not trained in it, then never mind.
Okay. Yeah.
So he pours you a shot of something, and he sort of slides it across. That'll be 10 creds for you.
Okay. Pay him 10 creds.
All right, and he kind of slot that in there. And, what? I mean, success does not always mean you win.
Yeah. It's going to cost us something.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of take a sip at it, and you're not trained in life science, so you probably have not had a lot to drink before in the past or anything like that. But it's like, it has a kick to it. It's pretty rough, but it has a kick to it, and it burns all the way down. But it's just like, and he kind of like has a big, just grin all over his face right there, and he walks away, just kind of chuckling to himself.
I drink it happily.
Yep. Now, for you, what did you get for your stealth check?
23.
All right. So, Niv, you are kind of making your way across the dance floor. You have some moves and stuff like that, but you always manage to kind of like stay there, and you're subtly making your way across the room. And you sidle up where you're kind of like leaning there with your back to him. You're kind of just sitting there, and you kind of make a little bit of. You're not good at small talk, but you make a little bit with the couple of people that are there. It's like you've procured somewhere in there a drink, like really just an empty glass with like some ice still in it.
Yeah.
Which is weird for an android to sit there with, but hey, you could be that you're just so augmented at this point you look like an android, right?
Right.
And so you're kind of just doing that, and like you're kind of listening to, you're quote unquote listening to the people that are right there in front of you, but you're really listening to the people behind you. From what you can tell, my ears. From what you can tell, if you want to, you can give me a culture check.
I have that. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Nice.
That's a 24.
All right, that's very good. From what you can tell, they're talking about like some sort of business going down, about someone who's a cutter.
Okay.
And from what you know, like any sort of like cutters, like someone who basically does any sort of surgery.
Right.
And like from just a little bit of looks you kind of can get from at the people involved, you can kind of see one has like a cowl down over his face, looking kind of shady as all get out, and the other guy looks nervous, but he also looks like he has a few things here or there that seem legit, but it's like he keeps kind of scratching at the edges of where the augments are, almost like it's not. Almost like he needs a little bit more. Like it doesn't feel quite right. Like you can still feel his skin, so it's not. It just wants something different. And they mention like a locale, but kind of like with the music and everything else kind of thumping, you don't really get much more than just like, there's this back alley where all this stuff is going on, and it's just like you don't really know how to necessarily get there. But you do know that there is a place where maybe you might be able to find this doctor. At least, very least, it seems like this guy is like some sort of former surgeon, some sort of former big shot who's now just a cutter down there in the dark. All right, so that all counted as a success as well. So if you want, things have gone. Not as great as they could have right there. You might need a little bit more information in order to actually find out where you're going or something like that. Because like a city map might be able to help you figure out the exact spot you're going to. And you might be able to find out if there's any sort of workspace available and who you should talk to about that.
Okay.
But a little bit more information would not hurt before you step out and actually start trying to seek out your quarry. Query?
So we did the club. Is there anywhere else you can think of we can try?
I mean, there's still some stuff you could probably find at the club.
Yeah.
Because you just talked to literally like one dude, listening in on a conversation, and bought a drink from the bartender. There are plenty of people that are on the dance floor. There's people at tables. There's the bouncer himself. There's people outside waiting in line to get in. There's any number of different things you could do, a different number of people. But yeah, like if you wanted to, you can kind of get out there, start shaking your groove thing, and trying to show off sweet dance moves with acrobatics if you really wanted to draw some attention.
I could potentially pull that off.
I want to try. I want to see if I can do this. I want to, because you said that there was an area where there's a cutter who like at this one point that possibly in this one potential area in the city, correct?
Yeah, if you're wanting to talk, like basically, if you're sharing information back and forth with each other, I'm assuming that you would, probably.
What I want to do is I want to see if I can try my computer's check from the beginning where I did the direct line, like go sit back down and do a direct line. I want to see if there's any way I could see if there's like I want to see if there's a way to tell if there's I want to see if there's any way I could figure out if there's people with augmentations that are like in this one point in the city around where the area where we.
So you're looking for kind of like reports and stuff like that in the area, maybe things that might be weird or off from normal. Okay,
do that. What I may try and do then is see if I can't somehow, gather a little bit of attention on the dance floor. Maybe get somebody that has like a hotel room around here or something that I could somehow get them to invite us back to, so I can get a key, give us a base of operations.
And is this one of those things I'm gonna be waiting out in the hallway while you do your thing in the hotel room?
I don't think you're gonna need a base of operations for this particular operation. This is gonna be a simple thing. You already have a base of operations, and you've narrowed down wherever you're gonna get all your information from is gonna be here at this nightclub at the Dark Corner.
Okay,
gotcha.
That's why you're.
I misconstrued something. Yeah. So never mind.
Like you've been working on this already for like weeks. And this is like your biggest clue pointed to here.
Distraction while you try to hack the thing and get us a map of the area too.
I could probably get a map of the area, but if a
map of the area is going to be like easy. I mean, you're going to get that without any problem. Now, hacking the system, like we're going to say maybe you're trying to get into like maybe some sort of police system, or maybe getting like, okay, these people who are in this area or something like that have been doing this, and yeah. So you have a lot more people just kind of like, disappearing and stuff. That might be a little bit more, because you're kind of like searching through maybe social media as well.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to basically act as a distraction while he tries to get to a place that maybe he's not supposed to be,
that's kind of more
and get everyone's attention away in case he ends up setting anything off, I will say you can do an acrobatics.
Let's see how sweet my dance moves are. 13.
You're a little stiff, because,
you're doing a robot.
I'm stretching. I'm warming up.
Wait! You forgot your oil can.
Oil can. This is the future. I carry around WD-40.
No.
WD-4000.
There you go.
Yep.
Do it right. You got to get that upgrade.
Well, if I'm running around with him, it might just be WD-400.
Yeah.
He comes up and he has this oil can. It's like, where'd you get that? Don't worry. Don't ask questions you don't want an answer to. So you got a 12, right?
13.
Sorry.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. It's not great.
If the dice had rolled over one more, then it'd have been great.
Yeah. So you get out there, you're starting to shake your groove thing right there. It's like, even you were like,
what?
Even Scrap's like, really? I don't even dance. I've never been to a dance. I've never really been to anything. The only music I
got
hear.
an idea. Can I throw my robot out there and do an acrobatics check too?
Have it dance too?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll allow it.
Yes.
I'm an android. I don't quite get all this
That's
stuff.
a 19.
Okay, so you're out there and you're trying to do like the robot, and you're trying.
I get a mini cardboard box, like flattened out, and it starts breakdancing.
It starts breakdancing right on the cardboard, and they're like, "Oh yeah, go Spindles, go Spindles!" And so everyone's distracted, and even like the bartender who he kind of juked you a little bit earlier. Is like he's just impressed.
Yes,
because it's just like you talked about doing it out there and do your work, and it's just like you made this thing right there. That's impressive. Do your computer check to go and try to find information right there.
Okay, that's a 13.
We'll say it passed. Just because of those
of that awesome breakdancing.
I'm gonna kick the
sweet dance
robot
moves.
at some point. At some point, I'm gonna turn that thing into a football.
You're gonna kick him a few yards. Whew. All right. So,
hopefully, I have more accuracy than most kickers.
Oof.
We're Panthers fans around
Seems
here.
like a low blow. So, you were looking for like just kind of like a general consensus area where it's okay, cool. I got this sweet new swag arm, right, and all that stuff.
Or if I can't find that, just like a general see if I can find an area where there's a lot more people with augmentations around.
Okay. You don't really find one in particular where there's a lot more augmentations around. There's pretty prevalent everywhere.
Yeah.
You do, however, notice that there's a part of the city that people seem to be avoiding more and more as time has gone by. because like the people there with augmentations seem to be a little sick. There's something not quite right with them. Like they're not really super responsive. They almost seem like they're in a daze all the time. And there's been reports of more than a few attacks by some of these ill individuals.
Okay.
And they're heavily augmented, but it's like super cheap augmentations. But it's just so many of them, they've almost lost whatever resemblance of civility is left in them. Okay. If you want, you can give me an let's say physical science check if you have that, if you're trained in that.
I'm not trained in that.
Okay.
That'd be me.
So if you wanted to, you could.
Why? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could show them. The dice hate us.
What'd
today.
you get? What'd you get, son?
5.
Oh, that's a mate. That's 5 total.
Yeah.
You kind of say the exact same thing. Where it's just like, well, I mean, augments are kind of common, and it's just like they're probably brain burned a little bit from just
because like would we know just like because I'm kind of like I'm a mechanic and his physical science, can we know that like basically cheap augmentations or bad augmentations can lead to really bad side effects to people and everything?
I mean, anything you overdo is going to lead to side effects.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you can just jump to without even really trying or anything like that. But just the sheer numbers is what catches you off. And we see an angry Niv.
It's okay.
No, angry gamer. This, if you get into gaming, this is why you end up with
47,000 dies.
It's okay. We're getting our bad rolls done now. Okay.
Hopefully,
yeah. That's what this whole thing was. Just setting that up. So you don't know what necessarily would cause it. You don't really know why these people are as sick as they are. It could just be bad mods. It could be any number of different things. It could just be living in the slums.
Right.
It's not exactly a clean place.
Yeah.
But you do have an idea where everything is.
Okay.
And after like your robot sweep moves and stuff like that, he's still out there kind of burning out. Everyone's kind of like, just way too excited about it. And they're kind of dancing beside the robot. The robot's the most popular one.
Yes.
Here, Niv is sadly not even noticed. Other than just a few weird looks where it's just like he's doing literally the robot.
You know what? That's probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm. The bartender kind of
memorable.
The bartender kind of flags you over, right? And just kind of like he slides you a drink. Same stuff, but it's just like, you know what, kid? It's like, if you can make more things like that and get them over to my club, I know where you can go. There's this doc. He's been doing a few, let's say, extracurricular surgeries for people.
Okay.
So it's like if you go to him, you tell him that you come from a dark corner, and he might be able to point you at least somewhere to do some work that it's quiet, we'll say. I will say this, though, if you do go that way, be careful of some of the, let's say, some of the former clients of the good doctor. Some of them don't come out quite right. You'll know you're at the right place because you'll probably see more than a few of them hanging around.
Okay.
But yeah, and then it's just like he turns away from you, leaves a drink right there in front of you if you want to drink that too.
I'm going to drink it.
Yeah, you
happily.
Whew, swill. Like, and then whenever Niv comes over, looks at the glass, and it's just like, you do realize this is like bottom shelf, like a cred each, right? Whew, hope you didn't spend more than 3 per glass.
So I found some information. Ignoring that.
How much did you spend?
Well, since I got that one for free, I may have paid an extra 8, but don't worry about it. Let's just say I gave him a good tip. Let's just do that.
Thank God you're a better mechanic than you are a bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, working together, you did manage to actually pin down a location.
Yeah.
And unless, of course, you feel like there's anything else you can do here at the Dark Corner.
I do have a quick question though. Essentially, I'm helping you with this bounty hunt. Essentially,
I think we're partners.
We're partners. Okay. So
you get your cut of it too.
yeah, right. But like, have we established who is like, I guess, paying us to do this?
There's usually a lot. In this case, that's up to the GM.
If you want, you can do a computer to kind of reverse and go up the chain a little bit.
But usually,
nah, I'm not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
Since you said that, it's probably best for me not to really.
Stick
my nose.
It is purely up to you.
Yeah.
It depends on how curious your character is.
I just didn't know if that was common.
Considering that you have a propensity for trying to get just a little bit more out of things.
Yeah.
It might not be out of the realm of you trying to do.
In the future, it may not be something I want. It may not be It may be something I may do, but right now, he at least knows when to stick his nose, when to not stick his nose in certain things.
He's been learning.
Yeah.
He's been learning.
And I think this is the one thing that I wish this system had that Savage Worlds and even D&D have added in is like the inspiration / Benny point.
Yeah.
That you're getting a little more into the role play of your character, and the GM can kind of use that as an incentive to push you just a little further.
I mean, it still might. I mean, there could be like other rewards for finding out who it is and be able to like directly kind of just like, the level of threat or risk that you're in by just finding out that information. But that is entirely up to you. But you have enough to move on.
Yep.
If you would like, we can kind of press on from here. And
I think so. Probably want to take the quiet approach first, scout the area out,
Sure.
assess threats.
Yeah, we'll do that.